Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once if you're sitting there half-assing your life, scrolling through excuses while the world passes you by. This is your wake-up call. The title of this speech isn't some fluffy motivational poster. It's a command. Give it your all, you will win. Yeah, you heard that right. Not you might win or try your best. You will win, but only if you stop being a spectator in your own damn story and start acting like the warrior you're meant to be. I've built empires from nothing, escaped the matrix of mediocrity, and crushed every obstacle thrown my way. Not because I wished for it, but because I gave it everything. And today, I'm telling you it's time for you to do the same. Picture this, you're in the ring, the lights blazing down, sweat dripping, heart pounding like a war drum. The opponent staring you down, but you're not backing up. You're charging forward, fists flying, because holding back isn't an option. That's life, brothers and sisters. It's not a participation trophy game. It's a brutal fight where winners are forged in the fire of total commitment. I've seen too many people, smart, talented, full of potential, wasted away because they gave 80% thinking it was enough. Newsflash, it's not. 80% gets you a pat on the back and a lifetime of what ifs. But 100%, that's the difference between being a loser in the stands and owning the throne. Give it your all means sacrificing the Netflix binges, the lazy weekends, the comfort zones that keep you chained. It means waking up at dawn, grinding when your muscles scream, and pushing past the pain that breaks weak men. Hook yourself on this truth. Every champion, every legend, from the ancient Spartans to the modern Titans, won because they refused to quit. You think I got to where I am by playing it safe? Hell no. I poured my soul into every venture, every rep in the gym, every deal on the table. And you can too, if you stop lying to yourself. But let's get real for a second. What if I told you that giving it your all isn't just about sweat and hustle? It's a mindset, a weapon sharper than any blade. Doubt creeps in like a thief in the night, whispering that you're not good enough, that the odds are stacked against you. Screw that noise. I've stared down prison walls, betrayals, and billions in the balance, and I came out swinging harder. The hook here is simple. Fear is your fuel. Channel it. When the world says you can't, you roar back with action. Build that unbreakable discipline. Read the books, lift the weights, network like your life depends on it, because it does. Surround yourself with winners, not whiners, and watch how your circle elevates you. I've mentored men who were broke and broken, and they rose up because they committed fully. No half measures, no retreats. Give it your all, and the universe bends to your will. You'll stumble, everyone does, but get up faster each time. That's the secret sauce of victory, resilience born from relentless effort. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, wind howling, heart racing. Do you leap with everything you've got, or do you hesitate and tumble into the abyss? That's the hook of true commitment. It's not a suggestion. It's your survival instinct in the savage arena of achievement. Half effort isn't just lazy. It's a silent killer, the graveyard where dreams go to rot while the bold claim kingdoms. I've stared into the eyes of failure more times than most men dream, building empires from scraps of nothing. And let me tell you, winners don't dabble, they devour. Pour every ounce of your soul into your goals. Charge like a warrior into the fray. Because mediocrity is the throne reserved for those too scared to seize their own destiny. Think about the greats who've reshaped history. Alexander the Great didn't conquer half the known world by showing up casually. He committed his life force to every campaign, turning impossible odds into legends etched in stone. That's the professional edge. You're chasing total immersion that transforms potential into power. In my world of high-stakes deals and unyielding discipline, I've seen brilliant minds crumble under partial effort, watching opportunities slip like sand through fingers. Why? Because when you give only fragments of yourself, the universe mirrors it back. Fragmented results, half-built legacies. But flip the script, commit fully, and watch barriers shatter. Hook yourself on this reality. Your energy is finite, so why waste it on shadows when you could ignite the sun? Start today by auditing your pursuits. Those fitness goals gathering dust. That business idea simmering on the back burner. Demand more from yourself. Rise before the sun, map your battles with precision, and execute with the ferocity of a predator on the hunt. Professional success isn't a lottery ticket. It's a forge where commitment tempers steel into swords. I've mentored rising stars who arrived broken, excuses their armor, only to shed it all and emerge victorious through sheer, unrelenting focus. Picture this hook. You're not just working, you're waging war on weakness. Every decision, skipping the easy out, enduring the grind when comfort calls, builds momentum that snowballs into unstoppable force. In boardrooms or gyms, the difference between the elite and the average is this: full commitment breeds excellence that others can't touch. It means saying no to distractions that dilute your drive, curating a life of intentional action where every hour counts. I've escaped the traps of doubt and distraction, turning personal prisons into platforms of power, all because I refuse to parcel out my passion. You hold that same fire, fan it into flames by aligning your days with uncompromised purpose. Engage with this truth. Deeper commitment isn't blind faith, it's calculated dominance. Track your progress like a CEO reviews metrics, adjust with ruthless efficiency, and celebrate the small wins that fuel the marathon. When fatigue hits, remember the hook that pulled me through darkest hours. Partial effort is betrayal of your own potential. Winners like us don't settle for echoes of greatness. We echo through eternity by giving all. Surround yourself with mirrors of this mindset, networks of doors who amplify your resolve, not drain it. In the quiet moments of strategy, visualize the crown awaiting, then storm toward it without reservation. This is your professional mandate. Commit fully or fade into the footnotes of history while victors write the epics. What if the very thing you dread, the relentless grind, is actually your sharpest blade in this cutthroat world? Hook into that thought. Life's not a leisurely stroll through paradise. It's a brutal arena where sweat and sacrifice separate the elite from the echoes. I've risen from the depths, forging fortunes in the fires of dawn workouts and endless negotiations. Because embracing the grind isn't optional. It's the weapon that turns ordinary men into unbreakable champions. Skip the excuses that chain you to the couch. Instead, lace up at the crack of dawn. Hit the gym with fury and grind like your legacy depends on it, because it does. Pain isn't your enemy. It's the raw material that crushes obstacles and builds empires. Visualize this hook pulling you in. You're not just lifting weights or chasing deadlines. You're sculpting a version of yourself that the world can't ignore. In my high-stakes journey, from kickboxing rings to boardroom battles, I've learned that true professionals don't flirt with effort. They marry it. The grind demands you show up when motivation flees, pushing through the burn that breaks the weak and elevates the worthy. Why waste prime hours on distractions when you could be stacking wins? Start small but fiercely. Commit to that early alarm. Fuel your body with purpose and watch how consistent action rewires your mind for dominance. I've coached countless individuals who arrived soft and scattered, only to harden into forces of nature through this unyielding routine. It's professional alchemy, turning hours of discomfort into assets that compound like interest in a vault. Engage deeper with the grind's power. Excuses are the thieves that rob you of potential, but sacrifice, that's the investor yielding exponential returns. Picture the dawn light hitting your face as you power through reps, each one a defiant strike against complacency. In the corporate coliseum or personal pursuits, the grind forges resilience that no shortcut can replicate. I've stared down exhaustion after 18-hour days, negotiating multi-million deals while others slept, and emerged sharper, stronger. Hook yourself on this. Every drop of sweat is a deposit in your victory bank, outpacing those who chase quick fixes. Professionalism here means strategy in the strain. Track your sessions, refine your techniques, and pair physical toil with mental drills like reading blueprints for success. Surround your grind with tools that amplify, playlists that ignite, mentors who sharpen, environments that demand excellence. But let's amp up the engagement. The grind isn't mindless drudgery. It's a symphony of controlled chaos where you conduct the crescendo. When muscles scream and doubts howl, that's your cue to lean in harder, transforming agony into adrenaline. I've escaped the matrix of ease by treating every challenge as a forge. Kickboxing scars became business scars. Gym gains fueled global gains. You hold that same potential. Reject the siren call of good enough and grind with precision, turning barriers into stepping stones. This is the professional edge, relentless effort that not only crushes today's hurdles, but anticipates tomorrow's wars. Fuel it with visualization. See the champion in the mirror after each session, the obstacles crumbling under your momentum. In networks of high achievers, stories abound of those who grinded through nights to claim daylight triumphs. Hook into your own narrative. What if this grind is the spark that ignites your unbreakable rise? Ever felt that cold whisper in your ear? The one saying you're not cut out for the big leagues, that the climb is too steep for someone like you. Hook into this. Doubt isn't a gentle nudge. It's a predator lurking in the shadows of your mind, waiting to paralyze you before the real fight even begins. But here's the professional truth I've hammered into my own life and the lives of those I've pulled from the brink. You don't negotiate with fear. You defy it with fierce, unyielding action. I've broken free from chains, literal and figurative, that would have crushed lesser men, from courtroom battles to personal betrayals that tested every fiber of my being. And you'll shatter your own barriers too, but only if you commit to bold moves every single day, turning whispers into roars that echo through your victories. Picture this hook pulling you forward. You're at the starting line of your greatest challenge, heart thundering, the crowd of critics fading into noise. In my world of high-octane risks, from dominating the ring to dominating markets, I've learned that action is the ultimate silencer. Doubt thrives on inaction, feeding on the what-ifs that keep you frozen while opportunities evaporate. Professionals don't wait for certainty. They create it through calculated strikes. Networking with power players, pitching ideas that scare you, executing plans with precision even when your gut twists. I've stared down the abyss of failure, emerging not just intact, but empowered, because each bold step drowned out the noise. Start small to build the muscle today. Make that call you've been dodging, hit send on that proposal, or step into the gym when every excuse screams retreat. These aren't random acts. They're deliberate defiances that compound into a fortress against fear. Engage with the deeper layer. Fierce action isn't reckless chaos. It's strategic warfare on your inner demons. I've mentored executives and entrepreneurs who arrived crippled by self-doubt, their potential buried under layers of hesitation, only to watch them soar once they embrace daily boldness. Hook yourself on this reality. Every time you act despite the fear, you rewrite your story from victim to victor. In boardrooms or personal arenas, the elite operate on momentum. Action begets clarity, clarity begets confidence, and confidence crushes doubt like glass underfoot. Track your wins in a journal, not for vanity, but for ammunition. Review how that one bold email landed a deal, how pushing through discomfort unlocked doors you never saw. I've escaped the matrix of mediocrity by treating doubt as fuel. When it hit hardest during my trials, I doubled down on outreach, training, and innovation, turning potential ruin into rocket fuel for resurgence. But let's intensify the engagement. What if doubt is your greatest teacher, disguised as an adversary? Roar back not with words, but with deeds that demand respect from yourself first. Surround your actions with accountability, allies who call out your stalls, routines that force forward motion, mindsets that frame fear as a signal to accelerate. In my relentless pursuit of excellence, I've seen how daily boldness transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Kickboxing knockouts became business triumphs. Personal lows became public highs. You possess that same arsenal. Defy the whisper today by tackling the task that terrifies you most, then tomorrow and the day after. This professional rhythm builds an aura of invincibility where doubt doesn't just fade, it flees. Visualize the chains breaking with each step, the path clearing as you charge. Hook into your power. Bold action isn't a choice. It's the currency of conquest, and in this game, only the defiant thrive. What if the walls around your life weren't built from stone, but from the unbreakable steel of your daily choices? Choices that turn fleeting dreams into towering empires. Hook into this. Discipline isn't a chain that binds you. It's the fortress that shields you from the chaos of weakness, elevating you above the masses who crumble under pressure. I've constructed my world brick by relentless brick, from the discipline of dawn training sessions to the ironclad routines that propelled me through global ventures, because true winners don't rise by accident. They rise through habits so fortified that no storm can breach them. Surround yourself with victors, not the whiners who drag you into their pity parties. Devour knowledge like a starving lion, and reject every whisper of weakness that tempts you to retreat. In this professional arena, discipline is your command center, transforming raw potential into a legacy that echoes for generations. Envision this hook gripping you tighter. You're not just adopting habits, you're engineering a machine of mastery that operates at peak efficiency day in and day out. In my high-stakes path from dominating competitive arenas to scaling businesses that defy odds, I've seen firsthand how ironclad discipline separates the elite from the echo chamber of excuses. Start by curating your circle. Seek out those who challenge you to level up, the mentors and peers whose successes inspire rather than intimidate. I've built networks of driven individuals who sharpen my edge, turning casual conversations into strategic blueprints for dominance. Devour knowledge proactively, carve out non-negotiable time each morning for reading industry leaders, analyzing market shifts, or honing skills that others deem too hard. Professionalism demands this veracity. Treat ignorance as the enemy and arm yourself with insights that turn obstacles into opportunities. Reject weakness at every turn when laziness knocks. Slam the door with a workout that leaves you stronger, or a task list that conquers the day before noon arrives. Dive deeper into the engagement building discipline. Like a fortress means layering defenses with precision, each habit a sentinel standing guard. I've escaped the traps of complacency by enforcing routines that no circumstance could derail. Early rises for focused planning, evenings reserved for reflection and refinement, weekends fueling growth rather than escape. Hook yourself on this truth. Weakness isn't born, it's invited through unchecked indulgences, but discipline evicts it ruthlessly. In corporate climbs or personal conquests, the pros track their adherence like vital signs, use apps for accountability, set milestones that demand progress, and reward consistency with tools that amplify your arsenal like premium courses or elite coaching. I've mentored those teetering on the edge of breakthrough, watching them shed flabby mindsets for sculpted resolve, their potential exploding into empires once habits took root. No retreats allowed when fatigue feigns defeat. Push through with the mindset of a general fortifying his lines, knowing every resisted temptation fortifies your core. Amp up the intensity with this hook. Imagine your discipline as a moat around your ambitions, drowning out distractions before they reach the gates. Surround your fortress with victors who reinforce the walls. Join masterminds, attend power summits, and let their energy charge yours like a battery. Devour knowledge not passively, but actively question everything, apply immediately, and iterate with the precision of a surgeon. Reject weakness by reframing it as theft. Every skipped rep, every delayed decision steals from your future self. In my relentless ascent, these principles turned a fighter's grit into a financier's fortune, proving that disciplined lives aren't restricted, they're liberated. You command the same blueprint. Audit your habits today. Eliminate the leaks and watch your fortress rise, unassailable and awe-inspiring. This is the professional alchemy, potential forged into power, one unyielding choice at a time. Ever crashed hard against the ground, tasting dirt and defeat, only to wonder if you'll ever stand again? Hook into this raw truth. Stumbles aren't the end of your story. They're the plot twists that legends use to launch higher, transforming every fall into rocket fuel that propels you past the finish line. In the brutal game of success, resilience isn't a nice to have, it's the ultimate edge that separates survivors from conquerors. I've tumbled from peaks I scaled with my own hands, legal battles that could have buried me, business blows that tested my core, and risen not just intact, but invincible, because I learned to harness failure as acceleration. Legends don't avoid the falls, they bounce with fury, surging forward faster each time, proving that in this arena, your greatest comebacks define you more than your clean runs ever could. Picture this hook yanking you back up. You're down in the 9th round, crowd roaring. But instead of staying floored, you explode upward with eyes locked on victory. That's the professional mindset I've cultivated through years of high-stakes trials, from the octagon's punishing defeats to the boardroom's savage negotiations. Failure hits everyone, CEOs, athletes, empires in the making. But the elite treat it as data, not doom. Dissect your setbacks with surgical precision. What went wrong? What lesson lurks in the wreckage? I've poured over my losses like blueprints for blueprints, adjusting strategies mid-storm to emerge sharper. Start fueling your resilience today. After a project flops or a goal slips, pause for reflection, not rumination. Then channel that energy into immediate action. Hit the gym harder, refine your pitch with fresh insights, or pivot your venture with the agility of a predator adapting to prey. This isn't passive recovery, it's aggressive rebirth, where each stumble shortens the path to your next triumph. Engage with the deeper fire. What if every failure is a hidden gift, disguised as a gut punch to toughen your resolve? In my relentless climb, I've seen proteges shattered by rejection letters or market crashes, only to rebuild with unbreakable momentum once they embrace the bounce. Hook yourself on this. Resilience builds through speed. The faster you rise, the more unstoppable you become. Professionals track their comebacks like athletes log reps, journal the fall, quantify the growth, and celebrate the surge that follows. I've turned prison walls into mental gyms, emerging with a philosophy that failure is fertilizer for dominance. Every denied deal seeded a bigger empire. Every physical setback forged a fiercer fighter. Surround your recovery with tools that amplify accountability partners who demand your rise. Motivational audits that highlight patterns of progress and mindsets that frame obstacles as opponents to outmaneuver. No wallowing allowed. That's for the weak who fade into footnotes. Intensify the pull with this hook. Imagine failure as your personal launch pad, each impact blasting you higher toward the stars others only gaze at. In corporate conquests or personal odysseys, the pros accelerate through adversity, analyzing risks pre-fall, executing recoveries post-impact, and iterating with the precision of engineers building rockets. I've mentored those on the brink, watching them convert career craters into career catapults by refusing to linger in loss. Fuel it with visualization, replay the stumble in slow motion, then fast forward to your empowered return. Muscles memory, deep in triumph. This professional rhythm turns the brutal game into your playground. Stumbles happen, but your comebacks, they're the spectacles that inspire legions. Harness that rocket fuel now, identify your latest fall, extract the propellant, and surge forward with a velocity that leaves doubt in the dust. What if the throne you've always eyed isn't waiting patiently? It's being claimed right now by those who burn with unquenchable fire, leaving the hesitant in the ashes. Hook into this electrifying reality. Victory doesn't grace the timid. It bows to the relentless, those who give it their all until the world itself yields to their command. I've seized fortunes and freedoms others deemed impossible, from the raw fury of the ring to the calculated strikes of global enterprise, because empires aren't handed over like gifts. They're ripped from the grip of fate by warriors who refuse to yield an inch. Starting now, lock your gaze on that throne, whether it's a corner office, a personal milestone, or a legacy that outlives you, and conquer with the ferocity that turns dreams into dynasties. The world doesn't reward whispers. It trembles before roars of unyielding action. Envision this hook drawing you closer. You're not chasing shadows in the distance. You're storming the gates with every resource at your disposal, heart ablaze and strategy sharp. In my ascent through adversity, from outmaneuvering skeptics in multi-million negotiations to rebuilding after betrayals that could have ended lesser men, I've proven that total commitment is the spark that ignites dominance. Give it your all means no sacred cows, no half-hearted efforts, no safety nets that dull your edge. Professionals in any arena, from finance to fitness, operate on this principle: pour intellect, sweat, and soul into every pursuit, tracking progress with the precision of a sniper and adjusting with the speed of lightning. I've mentored rising forces who arrive scattered and soft, only to harden into titans once they embrace this fire, their ventures exploding as they refuse to flinch. Lock onto your target today, define it clearly, break it into battles you can win daily, and charge without reservation, because hesitation is the thief that hands your crown to competitors. Engage with a deeper blaze. Unyielding fire isn't blind rage, it's disciplined inferno, fueled by purpose and fanned by persistence. Hook yourself on this. What separates the seized empire from the squandered one is the refusal to yield. When markets crash or critics swarm, you double down, innovating through the heat while others retreat to the sidelines. In high-stakes worlds I've navigated, from kickboxing knockouts to entrepreneurial empires, victory arrives through sustained intensity. Surround yourself with flames that match yours, like networks of high-caliber allies who push boundaries and devour resources that sharpen your assault. I've turned personal infernos, legal fires, financial flames, into forges that tempered my resolve. Emerging not scarred, but sculpted for supremacy, this professional alchemy demands you audit your fire daily. Is it roaring or flickering? Stoke it with routines that demand excellence. Early strategy sessions, relentless skill drills, bold outreach that expands your domain, and watch barriers bow as momentum builds. Intensify the grip with this hook. Imagine the world as a vast battlefield, your unyielding fire the weapon that carves paths where none existed, empires crumbling before your advance. Conquer starts in the mind. Visualize the throne not as a distant prize, but as your inevitable seat, claimed through actions that echo your commitment. In my unbreaking path, I've seen how this fire transforms the ordinary into the overlord. Deals closed under pressure, physiques chiseled against odds, legacies built brick by blazing brick. Refuse to yield by reframing every obstacle as tinder for your blaze. When exhaustion bites, ignite harder. When doubt flickers, fan the flames with proof of past conquests. Professionals who thrive lock in this mode, their worlds bending as they give all. Networks expanding, opportunities multiplying, thrones secured. Harness that fire now, identify your next siege, unleash your full arsenal, and seize what's yours, because in the end, only the unyielding etch their names in gold. So as we wrap this up, I leave you with this unbreakable promise. Give it your all and I'll win. Not tomorrow, not maybe, right now, starting today. Stand tall, lock eyes with your goals, and charge. The empire awaits, but only for those who earn it. Go out there and conquer, because legends aren't born, they're built through blood, sweat, and unyielding fire.